this is Crystal, and today I have a page in my 2019 Project Life album using the July Hip Kit Club kits. So our assignment today was to scrapbook a celebration and to use some layering, some dimension, and some stitching. So that's what I'll be doing on this double page spread. This is actually from May. So this is Cinco de Mayo. We had margaritas and fajitas at home, and then on the same day something not so celebratory happened, which is what I'm documenting on this side of the page. So to do so, I've pulled out a few things from the July kits. I do have the Pocket Life cards, so I'll be using some of those. I also pulled out a couple other papers. So there was a cut apart sheet from Webster's Pages. I thought maybe I would use some of that. And then I really liked the bright colors in this Echo Park paper. I had a scrap of it left and also a scrap of another Webster's Pages paper that I thought I might be able to use. So I grabbed those. And then for embellishments, I have both of the Hip Kit Club exclusive die cut packs, both the floral die cut pack and the regular die cut pack. And then I have the tiny little puffy alphas from Pink Fresh Studios Office Hours, as well as the wood accent stickers from Office Hours, and some enamel dots just for fun. So that's what I'm starting with. Of course, there are no rules, so I can pull from the other parts of the kit if I need to, but I find it easier to work with a smaller number of supplies to begin with, and these kits were so packed full, I figured I would be a little overwhelmed with all of it in front of me. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and get started. As usual, I'm going to start with the journal card. So I'm just going to flip through the pack of journal cards that came with the Pocket Life kit for July and see if there's any that I want to use. And there are actually quite a few that I think would work really well on this spread. So I've chosen 3 so far. I'm going to switch that dotted one out for the striped one. And even though that's 4x6, I'm just going to cut it in half and make it 2 3x4s. I don't use a lot of 4x6s, so I'm not too worried about not having enough. And I really like the stripes. I really love the colors on that card, and I think it works really well for a Cinco de Mayo spread. So I am going to make sure that I have room for my title. So I'm going to start with that. I'm just using the Office Hours Puffy Alphas that came in the kit to spell out Cinco de Mayo, and it does take me a little bit to get all of those tiny little alpha stickers lined up, so I don't make you watch that whole thing, but there it is all done. But I'm not going to stick it down yet, so I just made sure that it would fit across that card, and I'm going to set it to the side and do some embellishing before I actually stick those down. So I grabbed a punch from my stash. This is just a basic label punch from EK Success, and I punched a large label out of the bottom, the orange part of that card, and then I'm cutting out the little tab that was at the top, and that's all I'm going to use from that card. I will keep the rest of it in with my stash and possibly use it on another spread, but for this one, that's all I need. Next up, I'm going to go through one of the die cut packs. So this is one of the exclusive Hip Kit Club die cut packs that came in the July kits, and it is so packed full. There is so much here. It takes me quite a while to sort through it all. This is the first time that I have looked through the whole thing, so I'm just kind of perusing and seeing what might work on this spread. I found quite a few things that I think will work, and I just start kind of laying them down on the page where I think they might go. Obviously not all of these are going to end up on the final layout, but I wanted to give myself some options. So I'm just pulling out everything that I think will work, and then I will go back and edit through all those little bits and decide which ones to keep in a little bit. So I'm still just looking through all of these gorgeous die cuts. They are so bright and colorful. I love them so much. As I was looking through, I kept getting more and more ideas of how I could use them on other pages. So I was getting a little bit distracted and had to remind myself to stay focused on the one that I was working on. So I picked up that other die cut pack, the floral one, just for a second to see if there was anything in there that I thought might work here, but I'd already pulled out so many from that first die cut pack. I really didn't need any more, so I'm going to stick with this for now. So I had really wanted to include one of those drink die cuts on this picture of our margaritas, but they just didn't work. They were slightly too big. So instead I'm going to use a couple of these little citrus die cuts and a phrase die cut that says something about so good, I think. Sorry, I can't read it on my tiny screen right now. And then for the other photo of our fajitas, I thought maybe I could use the tiny label that punched out with the other one, with the orange one when I punched it, but it was just a little bit too small. I have another phrase die cut that I'm going to add to it as well, but I need another label to stick it on. So I was just looking at the other pieces that I had pulled out, and I decided to go with this pink stripe. This is an Echo Park paper. It's the back side of that really bright floral. And I punched another large label out of it, and I'm going to add that other phrase die cut to it, and then I thought I would add some hearts. So I had pulled out one heart, but I remembered that there were quite a few more in the pack, so I'm just going to go through quickly and pull out all of those hearts. And my idea was that I would do kind of a little line of hearts across the top of that label just above the phrase, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play around with it a little bit to try and get the right color combination. I finally settle on a couple and I glue them down. I even add a staple, but those are going to come right back up here in a second. I don't end up liking the way that it looked, and I found something that I think will actually work much better, so I'm going to go with that, but not before I actually stick everything down. But you'll see how I made those changes here in a bit. So in just a second, I'm going to take away the title card and the little label on the right to do some journaling, which I do on my typewriter. So I do that off screen. And here it is all done. I also typed up another little line to add to that best holiday card. And now I'm just sticking down my title since I have already run it through the typewriter. I don't have to worry about adding embellishments anymore, so I can adhere those things down. While I was away, I also picked out a couple die cuts to add to the top of this card. It was looking just a little bit blank, and I needed some way to tie it in to the other colors on this spread. So I found a little flag and just one of the little citrus die cuts that I had pulled from the Hip Kit Club exclusive die cut pack. And then I added that typed phrase at the bottom that says "because tacos." In place of those hearts, I added another citrus die cut, and even though there was a hole there from the staple, that die cut covered it completely. So it ended up working out just fine, and I like that much better. And then I'm just going to adhere down the things that I had chosen for the right-hand side of the spread. Those two labels, another little phrase sticker or die cut, and a camera die cut as well. And I'm also going to fussy cut out this 2x2 journal card from the Webster's Pages cut apart sheet. I wanted just the phrase and the rainbow. I didn't want all the white around it, so I just fussy cut that really loosely out of that card, and I'm going to add that to my title card along with one of these Pinkford Studio. They're like dimensional embellishments with a little wood piece at the top. This is one with just a bunch of stars. I'm going to pop up that fussy cut Webster's Pages card just with some fun foam. This foam is super thin, so it does fine in a pocket, which is why I like to use it in my Project Life album. And that just adds a little bit more interest, a little bit more dimension to that page. I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side with that camera, but before I do that, I want to add some stitching. So that was part of our assignment, and I think that's exactly what this page needs to finish it off. So I'm going to stitch down that citrus die cut that I put on this photo. I'm also going to stitch down the little banner and the little orange die cut that I put at the top of this filler card. And then finally, I'm going to stitch down across the little label on the large photo on the right. And that, again, just adds more dimension, more interest, and more texture to the page. Once I get all of that stitched down, I'm just going to trim off all the loose threads. I backstitched several times, so I'm not worried about anything coming undone, and it is all glued down anyway. So I just cut all the threads. I didn't bother taping them down on the back or anything. And then finally I can add that camera die cut on some fun foam, and that's going to be it for the spread. So it came together really quickly, even with the few missteps that I made. I really like the way that this page turned out. I think it's a perfect way to document Cinco de Mayo with this colorful kit, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. So if you haven't already picked up these kits, everything will be linked down below. Everything I used will be linked in the description, and yeah, you don't want to miss them because they are absolutely gorgeous. I keep saying they're my favorite so far, and they absolutely are. I've had so much fun working with them, and I can't wait to make more pages. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you found some inspiration, and I will see you all back here very soon. Bye-bye.